And they need to be able to protect the space that you're in. Psychedelics is not something to be fucked with. It can ruin lives. It can cause so much pain and a headache, and I've been there. I've been dealing with it for 4 years. It was hell. It was hell for me, not because necessarily of who I encountered when I smoked DMT, but because I didn't know that my mind could go somewhere else, into a different reality, that when my eyes were opened, I was no longer on planet Earth. It was really, really scary.
Lay out the science and the case that you are making for legalization of psychedelics and why this is an opportunity for investors.
Well, there's a real paradigm shift that is underway right now with regard to the research and the science. People are becoming a lot more aware.
Boxing legend Mike Tyson tells ABC7 psychedelic medicine not only changed his life, he says it saved his life. The FDA has already cleared the way for researchers to study drugs like DMT, MDMA, and other drugs and magic mushrooms.
God over here is just straight addicted to YouTube videos about people
like near-death experiences and like their experiences, what happened when they die. And I've been fascinated with that for years.
And it's weird because in the near-death experiences sort of community and all of these people telling their stories about it, there's a lot of common ground, man. You know, you really, like, there's a lot that adds up and it becomes credible because everyone's describing the same thing.
The powerful experience of a transcendent psychedelic moment is, it's not like anything else you experience in life other than maybe like a near-death experience. Yeah. But you could argue that they're the same thing. I know people that have had near-death experiences that swear that it was like a DMT trip.
I'm sure, and I don't think it's confirmed, but people say that it's what happens when you legally die or medically die. It's like you have a DMT trip.
Yeah,
and I could see that.
But it's not confirmed. But there's a lot of there's a lot of evidence that points to that.
And I should say, MAPS, obviously the Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies, the processes that you've been through are myriad. You correct me if I'm wrong, you're on a prescription for ketamine, which I think you take twice a week as well.
Like what you just described there really, I think, reinforces my personal experiential theory that there's something absolutely spiritual in drugs, and particularly even in ketamine.
The problem with the term drug is it's a blanket term that you could use for caffeine, you use for nicotine, you use for alcohol. There's a lot of drugs. Yeah, adrenaline's a drug.
Explain why you used to like to get high to the point of hearing voices.
Well, because it was cool. Hearing voices was awesome. To me, they were like otherworldly, like entities that were very real.
And I did see an elf, which is what people call them. There's
what they look like?
Kind of like a court jester, and it had like slinky, long arms. And it sounds like crackhead shit if you've never done DMT.
I saw a bunch of court jesters too.
A lot of people have a shared like physical description of what these things look like.
What would the voices say?
There were like nice things that some voices would say, and there were like mean things. So I would categorize them as angels and demons.
And what were the angels and demons saying?
Well, there were angels, there were demons, and then there were tricksters. Very distinct categories. The tricksters would just put on shows.
One of my most profound experiences, there was a bunch of court jesters give me the finger.
Just flipping you off.
They're like, fuck you, like openly mocking me. The aliens, or the whatever they were, the jesters, and they all had the little bells, the little hats with the bells.
Yeah, it's so crazy. They look like little courtyard. Yeah. It's nuts.
I was like,
they're kind of sarcastic.
Oh yeah. Well, they know your bullshit. They know all of your nonsense. They know all of your thoughts. They know. I mean, whatever the fuck they are, whether they're a part of your consciousness or whether these are intelligent entities in another dimension that you're interacting with.
See, that is what I've been questioning since doing this. So I was told by a friend who's done DMT a lot that after you do DMT, pay attention to the real world, and if you believe that the elves are real beings that are independent of something created in your own brain due to the DMT, they'll like send you a sign, right? And I was like, again, crackhead shit. No, I'm not going to meet the elves in real life, right?
Right.
So one of the things in my first trip that they kept telling me was, this is not the end. This is not the end. They kept telling me that because I think I was asking them, like, is this what happens when you die? Like, what is this? They said the phrase, this is not the end, multiple times. Directly after the trip, we go to a restaurant, and I wasn't liking the energy. Like, there's like a glow after you do DMT that you kind of want to maintain, and I didn't like the energy in the first restaurant, so I was like, let's leave. Went to another restaurant.
What was wrong with the energy?
The people were just weird. I don't know. It's like you create like a bubble when you do it with like friends, and you're like, I don't like what they might do to our bubble. So then we go to another restaurant, and there's a huge sign that just says, this is not the end, on the thing. And I'm like,
whoa,
what? And then I looked at my friend who told me to look for signs, and he's like, told ya.
Whoa.
So I'm like, I mean.
And so this person went first, and I was looking over at the DMT experience, and this person handed it to them, they smoked it, and then the person relaxed, and within like 3 or 5 minutes, they were back. And it was really beautiful to watch because they were just lying there on the grass in the most beautiful state, and there was tears streaming down, and it was tears of happiness, and they just looked so peaceful and calm, and I was like, wow, what's happening? This is so cool. Must be really interesting. And then the person comes back, they have tears in their eyes, and they wipe it away, and they're like, wait, I cried? And I was like, in my head, I was thinking, what do you mean you didn't know that you cried? But I just dismissed that. I was like, you totally know you cried, I don't understand. And they started describing what they saw, the most beautiful hands of God that were caressing them in the universe, and it was just beautiful. And then they turned to me and they said, Sherelle, you're going to love it. I can't explain it to you. You're just going to love it. You're going to have the best time ever. No.
What was that first experience like, the first time you tried it?
I died. And I just took in another dimension. I found out, before there was levels of human beings and humanity. Now we're all same. That's how my mind works. Everything's love. Everything.
Former boxing champ spoke to CBS 4's Joe Waldman about his relationship with medically approved psychedelics and how he wants to use them to make the world a better place.
It seemed like Iron Mike Tyson had steel in his gloves.
I'm gonna stop the fight. Down he goes. Oh, he's hurt. It's all over.
It's just my nature. I mean, to reach for you and take your heart or your blood or your spleen or your liver.
But now, 55, Mike Tyson seems to be all heart.
That's when my mind was blown away with psychedelics, and I just wanted the world to know what I experienced.
The champ speaking this week before a standing room only crowd at Wonderland, Miami, dubbed the largest psychedelic medicine event ever, attended by scientists and medical professionals from around the globe. Tyson says he began using psychedelics about 5 years ago, telling us with pure joy it changed his life for the better forever.
That's psychedelics, baby. That's a toe, baby. That's some shrooms, baby. They think I changed. No, I took some shrooms. I took some medicine, like I supposed to, the right medicine. I took the right medicine, and it helps me reach my highest potential.
Yeah, it's so mysterious, but I do think it's like pretty incredible the way that regardless of culture, regardless of what your religious background is, you're going to have the same experience when you die. That's one of the things the NDE experts talk about, is it's like, it doesn't matter if you're Hindu, Jewish, whatever it may be, it's the life review, it's the light, it's all the things that you hear about, and it seems to transcend culture, which is another implication that, it's something real, or if not real, the cynical version of it as well. It's something built into us.
It's crazy.
So I take my puffs, disgusting. Then I don't remember what happened in this reality. I was no longer here. What I encountered instead was entities. I know that I was still me, but I don't think I had a body. I didn't look down, so I couldn't see if I had a body, but I think it was just my spirit. But I could see this one clear entity in front of me, and there was thousands of them all around, the same ones, but he was the only one that was sharp. And they looked like Avatar. They were green and pink. The force of these thousands of people, they were wanting me so badly to come with them. And so that was happening. And when you're on DMT or psychedelics, time doesn't exist. There is no such thing as time. So what I was experiencing felt like an eternity. And I mean an eternity. Forever experiencing thousands of hands trying to pull you down. And I became so exhausted. And I was resisting and fighting and resisting and fighting for so long. And then finally, I just said, fuck it. I can't resist anymore. And so under my breath, I said silently, goodbye. So I just farewelled. I said, you know, I'm done. I'm done resisting. I'm done resisting. I'm so tired. I can't anymore. I'm just going to go. And I thought my life was over, that I would never ever return. Because I can guarantee you that when you're there, it's real. When people say these experiences are real, it's not a figment of the imagination, I can absolutely agree with that. It was real. It was 1000% real. This is why we don't really know anything about the world. We think it's just this little 3D thing, but there's so much more. So much more. The minute I lied down after I smoked the DMT, I came back up and I came right up. My eyes were apparently wide open and I was screaming at the top of my lungs, help! Help me! Help! Help! My eyes were wide open. I didn't see shit. In the other reality, I was fucking gone. I was somewhere else. Was not here. So the integration process is so important. Self-reflection, asking yourself the questions. But what questions do you have if you've never experienced anything like this?
In the way that this entire movement, this entire renaissance, if you will, of psychedelic medicine goes forward, I think as with most things, if we sort of rush headlong, in without really knowing where we're going and having a plan, both for, considering accessibility, considering how we're actually going to roll these out, scalability, the commercialization aspect. Also, of course, psychedelics, many of these are plant-based medicines with millennia of kind of cultural background and things that I think is also a critical piece that we need to be attentive to as these gain momentum.